What's good, everyone? This is RawTruth Media, giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Please like and share this video throughout all social media platforms. And today, while I'm on break, I wanted to talk about this new find that Jackson State found with their quarterback position, Jacobian Morgan. When I watched him play against Mississippi Valley State, the tough runs, the trucking the players, and like and share this video if you haven't, the command of the huddle. Yes, he's not as accurate as some of the other quarterbacks in Jackson State, but I believe with more repetition, he's going to be a problem. Now, he's listed at 6'4", 227. I know damn well he's taller and stronger than that. I think Jacobian Morgan is 6'5", 245. That's what I think, looking at him play. Shout out to brother Chief Bartran. Thank you for being in the chat, my brother. This is their future. And if I'm Jackson State, I'm asking Jacobian, what plays does he like? What plays that he's comfortable with? What are some of the plays he makes his best throws? When you find a gem at the quarterback position, that's the best way to help a young quarterback, because you see the throwing power he has. I bet you if there was a throwing contest at Jackson State, he would win it off sheer throwing power. And if you just came in, make sure to hit the like button, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. If I'm Jackson State right now, I would be so excited about him starting. And let's not forget, now we're not trying to excuse losses or saying losses are a great thing, but if Jackson State would have won against Alabama State, would they have gone with Jacobian Morgan? I doubt it. I believe if Jackson State would have won that game, they would have stuck with Jason Brown. I thought Jason Brown during the season was going to be the quarterback that Jackson State needed. Unfortunately, I was wrong. And I can admit when I'm wrong. Jason Brown he was just too conservative. And when you're just too conservative and you're not running effectively, that's not really providing anything. With Jacobian Morgan, he didn't have a big-time stat line, but he made all the plays that were needed. Now, for the Jackson State offense, Jacobian Morgan would have had more yards if, players on the team wasn't fumbling and not being aligned and assigned. But for what he could control this past weekend, certain throws, certain runs, that's all he needed to do. So I can't wait to see the type of receivers that are going to be starting throughout the season. Because if Jackson State can find a way to win the rest of the games on their schedule and have a final record of 8-3, I think most Jackson State fans will be proud of it. Shit, I think a lot of them will. Not most, a lot of them. Excuse my language, by the way. But let me digress. So when Irv Mulligan comes back, when the offense really starts clicking, again, some people say the offense should have been clicking now. Some people are saying that give them time. They found their quarterback. So I'm excited to see the transition of this new style. If I'm the offensive coordinator of Jackson State, Maurice Harris, and I think he's a talented offensive coordinator, I just think that certain things have to match with this team. I will be looking at the Philadelphia Eagles and how they use their dual threat quarterbacks. That's what I will be doing. The tush push, all that stuff. I'm putting that in the playbook. and I'm watching film on teams that had a quarterback like Cam Newton to implement on my offense. That's what I would do. But again, I'm not the offensive coordinator. What Jackson State has right now is a Maserati. And with Maseratis, you need good maintenance, proper plays, as well as discipline, no turnovers, no dumb penalties. This is what I want to see from Jackson State going forward, because it's a headache. I know it has to be a headache for all you guys to go to a Jackson State game, turnover, fumble, procedure penalty. It gets annoying. I want TC Taylor to do so well throughout the season, so the shines and haters can just finally shut up about if he's a great coach or not. I've seen people say they need to get Ed Reed or Ray Lewis. Hell no. You guys got a great coach. It's his first year. Right. Like Coach Simmons says, don't forget to share the stream. And speaking of share the stream, peace and blessings to Coach Simmons. Subscribe to his channel. Great brother right here. Fellow Texas native. But back on subject. TC Taylor, is there perfect coach games that he's having? No, not yet. But is he growing in a role? Yes. And he's not even satisfied. If you looked at his press conference, he wasn't smiling. He wasn't settling that they just won against Valley 21-6. He wasn't happy because Delta State, a D2 school, beat Valley 35-7. TC Taylor knows this and knows his team should have won by, to be honest, looking at the game, Jackson State should have won that game 45-0. But credit to Valley, it's a rival game. They didn't want to let their coach down. And speaking of Valley, that number 15, the freshman quarterback, he's really good. I'm really impressed with him. I'm really impressed with number 15. Shout out to Mr. Campbell, my brother right there, FAMU alum. He says JSU is about to probably be 8-3. That is a great, he repeats, a great season for a first-year head coach. It is. That's a great year for a first-year head coach. No matter if certain people don't want to believe it or not, that's a great record for a first-year head coach. Something that you should be proud on. You could build on that. Jeffrey Ziegler says, my thing is, why was Brown starting when Liberty offense, they run in a run-first spread? That's interesting. And maybe, and that's fair enough to even question it. Looking at Jackson State right now being 5-3. That's a fair question because the Liberty offenses, like you pointed out, they always had a running quarterback. Always. That Hugh Freeze offense, they use running quarterbacks. Look what Hugh Freeze is doing at Auburn. Now, they're not winning at the standard of Auburn level, but even with Auburn, he's using running quarterbacks. Jeffrey Ziegler says, you need a mobile quarterback to play in this offense they run. That is the truth. And now people are understanding. That's why I didn't say, or I've never said, oh, Maurice Harris is not it. No, it's not even that. It's all about the perfect quarterback for his offense. And when you have a quarterback that does not run the ball like Jason Brown does, and I say this respectfully, he was like a statue. When you have that at quarterback, a change was inevitable. It had to be made. The reason why they went for with Jason Brown to start the season, because he was I think a 6th or 7th year senior. So they wanted a veteran presence in the locker room, starting out there. And they thought that would be a big help. But I'm glad they made this change now. Now, I read some messages on social media. Some said if Jacoby and Morgan, if he would have started if he would have started earlier in the season, they probably would have beat FAMU. I don't think so because special teams is horrible. Special teams, how many yards they had on special teams? FAMU had almost 300. They probably pretty much had 300 yards of special teams. 300 plus, that is. You can't win anything when you're giving up 300 plus yards on special team returns. That's a good point, Coach Simmons. And this is a coaching perspective. Like you pointed out, since this team is not a senior-led team, the two teams that Jackson State had, and they're going to point out the winning records and stuff, but they had a lot of upperclassmen. Now, this year they have some upperclassmen, but the best players or the players with the brighter futures at Jackson State right now are the underclassmen. Tell me if I'm lying, family. So you can see why a coach would want to put a veteran like Jason Brown there just to have that sheer veteran leadership. And the good thing about the rest of the Jackson State games, there's no pressure. They could finally play the young guys like Isaiah Spencer and company. And it's like an evaluation. Now we get to see who wants it. Now we get to see the players that really are trying to build for the future or the ones that are just not about building for the future. We're going to see in these games. We're going to see who's hungry, who loves Jackson State. And we're going to see those who were just here just because of the name and just because of the previous coaching staff. So I'm going to be paying attention to this. This is going to be the most fun in the football aspect of breaking the team down and seeing what they could become. Mr. Campbell says, but here is the deal. Morgan has had 7 games to understand the offense. Jason Brown at the beginning of the season clearly had a mastery of the offense while Morgan did not. That is true as well. And comfortability. Maybe Jacobian, and it could be truth right here, maybe Jacobian was not ready for that offense. That offense, that's not a simplistic offense that Maurice Harris runs. Trust me, if Jacobian Morgan had the offense down, he would have been a starter. Looking at all his skill traits. So Jackson State is not doing no favoritism. They're not just because Jason Brown is the oldest player, so they started him. It's just about Jason Brown knowing the offense, knowing where to go. And you saw a glimpse of that when they played against South Carolina State. The reason why Jason Brown had all those yards, he was more ready to go than the entire South Carolina State team. He knew where to place the ball. He knew where his receivers needed to be. And he didn't have to throw the ball deep that much. That game was high-level IQ from Jason Brown, and that's to be expected. But when the season went on and when defenses caught up, that's when things change. But that's why Jason Brown had that head start. Again, another thing I must point out, Jacoby and Morgan, like Bro George pointed out, was not at the JSU spring game like Brown was. That's another advantage. So Jacoby and Morgan had to play catch up this whole offseason. Of course, he wasn't going to start. Shout out to Sonic Boom C98. Peace and blessings, my brother. Everyone that's listening, please share this video on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. He says, we'll see these next couple of games. Fans tend to get a little too worked up after game one. We'll see their patience. Yeah, we're going to see, man. Shout out to Sabrina Singleton. She says Jacobian had a hand surgery, and he couldn't start the beginning of the season. I didn't even know that. But do you think that he would have started over Jason Brown without knowing that much of the playbook? He probably would have been in some plays, some read option plays here and there. But I think that Jason Brown would have started either way, because he knew the playbook. Jeffrey Ziegler, he just put it in plain sight. That's just as honest as it could be. He said there's nothing wrong with Jason Brown. He just doesn't fit the offense. And when you're playing in an offense that needs a running quarterback and you're not getting big runs from your quarterback, it's tough to again, it makes sense. That's why people were saying, man, this doesn't look like a Maurice Harris offense. Of course, because it doesn't have a running quarterback. Now you're seeing it with Jacoby and Morgan, and they meaning Jackson State missed a lot of opportunity. There were some throws that Jacoby missed that he usually makes, but that's just time and rhythm. Chauncey Harris, he's on that 8-3 train. He said finish strong 8-3. I want to let everyone know right now. Now, Willie Simmons is doing a great job, and he should win out the remainder of the SWAC games. But if Jackson State goes 8-3, first-year head coach, if it's not Willie Simmons being the coach of the year, you have to give it to TC, because of all the players he lost. Even though he recruited well, but all the players he lost. If it's not given to Willie Simmons, that is, I want that to be clear. Now, that's if they go 8-3. Dick Cat Harris says Morgan's timing was a little off with his receivers. It was, but I think that'll be rectified. You know what receiver I like, man? And I can't believe he wasn't used like he is now, right now, because he wasn't used like that early in the season. That's Jonas Forderling, number 16, 6'5", 220. I can't believe he was not utilized that much in the past, man. Thank God that Jackson State's going to it more, and I expect JSU to get him involved. They can't stop him in the red zone. They can't stop number 16. Man, how many DBs can stop number 16 in the red zone? Shout out to Stony Stone 750. He said, could you imagine if Morgan had go get it in the air, wide receiver like Wyman Hooks? They get separation. They got oh yeah, you're talking about the route run, the vertical routes. Yeah, if Jacobian had receivers like that, oh my God, that's perfect. If Wyman would have stayed, and I know people don't want to say woulda, coulda, shoulda, I get it. If Weidman could have stayed on this team with Jacobian Morgan's powerful arm, it wouldn't matter how accurate or inaccurate his arm is. All he had to do was just throw it up, and Weidman's gonna catch that thing, man. That would have been nasty, man. That would have been nasty. Let's get it to 50 likes, family. Share this video, Twitter. And if you share it on Twitter, tag me in it as well. Show some love. Facebook, Instagram. This is the People's Channel. It's not just my channel. It's the People's Channel. Sonic Boom C98 says Brown did well for an offense that is not catered to him. Or is it similar to something he's been running since middle school? That is a good point. And benefit of the doubt. Big Cat Harris says Jackson State has 2 more 6'4" wide receivers, but they are freshmen. Hey, since this is a evaluation period, I'm glad you mentioned that. Play the freshmen more. I ain't trying to tell TC what to do. I'm not trying to act like one of these wannabe coaches. I'm not trying to do that. But and one of the weaknesses of the Jackson State receiving core is the fumbles. Most of the fumbles are coming from them. Like, they'll catch it, and there's like a fumble here and there off of a big hit. I would like to see some of the young receivers get some touches, man, get some catches. You can still win the remaining of the games with the young guys. Now, they got to show on in practice, of course. I'm sure TC Taylor's not going to be just giving positions to anybody. Matthew Wesley Moore says, if you're a JSU coaching staff, it should have been mandatory to have Jacobian work all off season with a great quarterback coach to fix the mechanics, accuracy, footwork, etc. Jacobian is not a battering ram. Now, if you look at Jacobian's film, he's much more than a battering ram. I'll give you credit on that. He can run. When he was playing at Syracuse, he ran when he needed to run. I think that the coaching staff is just is using a lot of simplicity. Don't forget there was injuries to the offensive line through the year, and then you got to worry about cohesion and different lineups. So they were just trying to do what they had to do to win the games. But I believe next season you'll start seeing Jacobian use his full repertoire. But here's a prediction as well. Even though I think Jacobian is the quarterback of the future, there will still be quarterback competition, and rightfully so. The quarterback that they recruited out of high school from Louisville, Texas, look out for him. And what is the name again? Terrell something. He's a legacy recruit. I think he had a family member that played at JSU back in the day. Chat, let me know the name of the quarterback that's I can't believe I'll be forgetting the name of the quarterback recruit that's coming in to Jackson State. Ethan Terrell is the real deal. Looking at his film, he can run very fast. He's very elusive, but his arm talent is talent. I can't believe he didn't have a bunch of Power 5 offers. He's in one of the toughest divisions in Texas 6A, giving people the work, giving defenses the work. I believe he's an early enrollee. Jacobian has to improve the accuracy because when Ethan Terrell comes in, he's coming in to take someone's spot. He doesn't care who was starting the season before. He doesn't give a damn about that. He's a dog. And all my Texas high school football fans, y'all know, if you've seen this young man play, y'all know how much of a dog he is. He is not going to take a back seat to anyone. He's going to be in the film room longer than everybody. He's going to be the first one in practice, last one out. That's Ethan Terrell. Ask any Texas high school coach about Ethan Terrell of Louisville. They'll tell you he's a program builder. Louisville football was not winning at the level they were before Ethan Terrell. Ethan Terrell got in there and changed everything. He changed everything for Louisville. Now you see Louisville players getting recruited more. If you look at the tape, Ethan Terrell looks like he should be a 4-star. And I'm not saying this because he's a Jackson State recruit. I'm telling you what I've seen. Jeffrey Ziegler says, with Morgan, you can run more RPO plays because of his mobility and arm. Yep. I see y'all agreeing with the Ethan Terrell tag. I'm telling y'all, man, when Ethan Terrell comes in, he will not be taking a back seat. This should motivate Jacobian Morgan. If I'm Jacobian Morgan throughout the whole season, I'm thinking about, man, I need to solidify this spot. I need to solidify this spot so I can be the guy in camp for the next season. Mr. Campbell says he was responding to Kelly. He said, I'm comparing from the beginning of the season versus the game versus Game 7. Clearly, TC felt Brown was the better fit to start. Now someone said Morgan was hurt and couldn't start. It's all about perspective, man. Because when Brown started the game against South Carolina State and had a really great game, nobody had complaints about it. Again, you don't know how the severity of the injury was with Jacoby and Morgan earlier in the season, and you also can't forget the playbook. Jason Brown knew the plays, and Jason Brown knew the plays because he was there earlier. Sabrina Singleton says, Ethan Terrell, if you listen to today's SWAC press conference, TC confirmed that Yep. And again, credit, I know it's going to sound like a recurring thing, but credit to Mr. Campbell. Now, y'all know he's a FAMU alum. He's from Jackson. But out of everyone, he was pretty fair with his prediction to Jackson State. Now, I'm sure he didn't predict them losing to Alabama State, but I remember him saying that they will only lose 2 to 3 games. He had a lot of respect for the talent of the team. Jackson State's a talented team. If you take away that Alabama State loss, would anybody be panicking right now? Would anybody be like over questioning things? They may say, okay, you need to stop turning over the ball here and there, but it wouldn't be the sky is falling mentality. And if you want to support all the content, Cash App, this helps to grow the channel. Anything you donate is appreciated, and I appreciate everybody. I just mentioned Jackson State, but this is what I want to talk about. Grambling State. Grambling State. If you're a fan of Grambling State, you got to win all your games. Let me say that again. Grambling State, you got to win all your games now. Because with those 2 recent losses, and then that horrible loss against Alabama A&M, you have now put yourself in a position to really have PV right back in the thick of it. Let me do this math correctly. If PV loses to FAMU but wins all their games, they're going to the SWAC championship game. And they're going to mostly play against FAMU. So the defense of Grambling State, they got to buckle down, man. Your offense is too talented. The fact that your offense scores late 20s, 30s points, and you're still losing games, that's unacceptable. The offense that was created by Tony Ho, the offensive coordinator, the G5 offense, he has this offense at a high pace. Running backs running high 4, high 5 yards per carry. That should be enough to win these games, but the defense has been treacherous for Grambling State. The tackling's been bad. You had a chance right there when you beat PV, and now you're squandering it. And I always say the SWAC is at its best is when the blue bloods of the conference is winning their games. I love the quarterback, Miles Crawley. Him transferring to Grambling State was the best decision of his career. But you don't want to waste his years at Grambling if your defense is not showing up and winning these matchups. Let me read some of these comments. But I had to mention that about Grambling because I love what their offense is doing. And here's a good thing about their offense, meaning Grambling State. Their offense is so good that the defense, all they had to do is be moderate. Bend, don't break. That's all their defense has to be. Let's get the likes up to 60, family. Let's get the likes up to 60. Let me read some of these comments. Jeffrey Ziegler says Jonas Fortney showed up last game. Also, big receiver recruit another underclassman. Man, yeah, you gotta. Yeah, I like when Jackson State get these big receivers that can high point the ball, that are not slow pokes. Shout out to the homie Tamale, the Sports Network, man. Peace and blessings to you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to his channel. I have so much respect for Coach Walker. Coach Walker, he truly loves HBCUs. And the conversations we have, man, are the best. And one thing I respect about Coach Walker, he would talk about not just the D1 HBCUs. He'll talk about St. Benedict's or Miles College. He supports all of it. And that's something even I need to do better. And I appreciate his content so much, man. Welcome to the chat, my brother. Jeffrey Ziegler says, yes, Crawley is a good quarterback. And I also want Grambling to win more games because I want some of their players to get awards. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Y'all let me know if you can hear me now. Yeah, someone called me when I was doing this live. I forgot to turn off the no call feature. Sorry about that, family. Man, I was really about to cook, man. God damn, I hate when that happens. Man, I hate when that happens, man. Yeah, Grambling, man. Y'all got to get it together, man. I like this team. I get it, brother KJ, that they are a very young team, but the games they lost are winnable. Now, there's some different factors. Alabama A&M has exceeded expectations. And with their quarterback Xavier Langford playing, I mean, Alabama A&M has shut up a lot of haters. I got to give Coach Maynard credit. I don't care how much of a goofy he is at times, or just random stuff he does. Coach Maynard has done a good job. Chris Silas says, "Continue to cook, man." I'm just trying to give the raw truth that y'all deservedly need, man. That's all, man. Matthew Wesley says the receivers can't catch. Lack of ball security needs to be worked on all season. You're talking about Jackson State. Yeah, that definitely needs to be worked on. Hey, you know what? TC is probably doing this, but if I'm a coach and I have my skill players fumbling the ball and just drops, I'm having a grading chart to the coaches or former athletes. Y'all remember this grading chart? Man, I'll have a grading chart, how many fumbles and drops you have in practice. And if you have a bunch of fumbles and drops in practice, you barely gonna play in the game. I know that sounds strict, but going forward for this Jackson State team, that would make a difference. I bet you they won't turn the ball over then. I bet, hey, that's gonna work, bro. That always works because it's gonna be the first thing when they catch that ball. They'll be like, man, secure it. Now, shout out to Tomorrow Leader Sports Network. Coach Walker pointed it out before it was even popular. He did point out if Xavier Langford, like he said, if Xavier Langford had a chance, he would make it happen. And one thing about Coach Walker, he has the coach's eye. He's not a skeptical. He's not just a regular fan. He coaches football. So he was telling me about that, about Xavier Langford, and lo and behold, they're doing exactly what Coach Walker pointed out, man. And good eye, bro, because Xavier Langford, if they would have done this earlier in the season, they probably could have still stole some wins. Alabama A&M would probably be better in 4-3, at least 5-2, which is damn good. Right, Coach Walker. He said, Coach Walker says that's not strict, that's old school. That is. Grading chart. Yeah, that fumble. Hey, that fumble at, oh, man. Marvin Sharp says facts. Their punishment or consequences must not be severe. Sonic Boom says some of ours receivers don't get separation, and the ones that who do often drop passes. Yeah, it's so much of a headache, man. Like, why are the fast players making the drops and fumbles? Hollywood says just a simple sample size. TC hasn't won a big game yet. Lost of. Wait a minute, come on, man. Hollywood, you got to be honest. Not even the Dion coach teams would have beaten that Texas State team. The only bad loss that TC Taylor had was against, like, a loss that they were not favored in. I mean, a loss that they were favored to win was Alabama State. That was a bad loss, but besides that, a lot of people had FAMU beating Jackson State this year. The only gripe to the Jackson State season this year is some of the turnovers and bad special teams in the games they have won. They could have won in a more larger margin, a la Alabama A&M. That's the only gripe. You take those fumbles away, man, and bad special teams field position, none of this will be a problem. Right, Sonic Boom? A lot of people had Jackson State, just like he pointed out, losing to South Carolina State. And I don't want to hear like, no, they didn't. I heard a lot of people say they were going to lose that game. I think Rico Powers is nicked up, man. I think he is. This is my opinion. Shout out to HBC Overdrive and Doc Holiday. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, man. Good brother. Hoop Jargon in the building. He said, salute. Hey, check out the stream we did. We gave SWAC grades to every team. Now, we did give a post game of the Jackson State game beginning of the video, but if you go throughout the video, we gave SWAC grades to every single team. We were fair. So check it out. Hoop Jargon was on the panel. Chris Salas says, I really wanted a shutout. I was pissed. Really, he should have just took a knee. Should have just took a knee, but it happens. But y'all would have had the shutout. Valley and ATL should have been shutouts. I agree. Shout out to Franklin Coots. He said, what up, RawTruth? What up? What up, man? Hey, we got an important announcement. So Dr. Kenyatta Cavill is confirmed for next week. Stay tuned. So the panel, me, Hoop Jargon, and Dr. Cavill will be on the stream next week. Y'all stay tuned for it. Make sure to hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button with the bell. Man, my dog, Hoop Jargon, man, he like a brother to me, man. We both from the same city. We're both from H-Town. Good brother right there. I'm glad he's doing well in this channel. So Bartran just posted a link to the show that I had with Hoop Jargon. Great show. A lot of good nuggets on there, man. And we gave everybody a letter grade. We were not sugarcoating any teams. Now, I will let you know, we didn't give any teams Fs. We grade the scale off the talent the roster has and if they exceeded the talent. That was probably one of the most fun streams I've been a part of, man. That is true. FAMU didn't shut out Valley. Yeah, Valley, we got to give Valley credit, man. They don't give up this year. They don't give up. I hate that they lost to two D2 teams. I hate it, man. Hey, man, shout out to Hoop Jargon. No matter if it's $1, $10, this is what we do. He says support Black media. That's what it's all about. That's what we got to do. We got to support Black media. We don't need to be hating on each other. Look at the world right now. We have no time to be hating on each other. Support Black media, independent media. We all we got. Hit the like button. Let's get it to 70 likes, family. Miracle Sports says you have to look at the total team. If the punter is healthy, we are not starting on defense, midfield, or closer. That in the turnovers is why ASU beat Jackson State. That is a fact right there. I don't think the Alabama State game would have been close if it was bad field position and reckless turnovers. Jackson State not probably, scratch that. Jackson State would have beaten Alabama State, and I'm not trying to do the woulda, coulda, shoulda, but this is context. If they would have, it's the fundamental things. Lack of ball security and bad field position off of special teams is why they lost to Alabama State. That could have been a 17-point win. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. That's what the game should have been. And think about it. The defense at Jackson State actually has exceeded expectations. Now, you're going to say, what about the Texas State game? Texas State's doing that against anybody. They're scoring on everybody. But did you know that Jackson State is number 1 in the FCS in turnovers as of right now? They're number 1 in calls and turnovers. Hoop Jargon says fundamentals. See, it's good from great. Yeah, fundamentals is what separates good from great. Always. Yep, and they turned the ball over when they was driving. Sonic Boom. We gotta have realistic expectations, also realistic breakdowns. Like The fact that we're using the Texas State game, a money game, a team that's this school, the team that put 42 points against Baylor, as a barometer of how good or bad this defense is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. The DBs are not like the past 2 years. We all agree on that, but they're damn good. So Hollywood, and all opinions are welcome, but he said excuse making is incredible. It's about wins and losses. Nobody cares about refs and the fumbles. Your record is who you are. Yeah, your record is who you are. But what we're all explaining is that the cause of the losses, the full breakdown. So everyone that knows football and knows about Jackson State knows they have lost because of bad field position of special teams and turnovers. Now, brother Hollywood, where is the lie in that? Because I'm breaking down, if you do what you're supposed to do fundamentally, those games that you lost was closer than it should be, wouldn't even be a problem. Right, like Big Cat Harris says, you can't fumble against good teams and win. You can never win against good teams fumbling and giving them bad field position. And remember, I mentioned FAMU, 300 plus yards from your return yards. You do that against anybody, you're not going to win. Can you believe that FAMU only had 160 yards passing against Jackson State? And we act like they were just airing it all on Jackson State all game. That's not what happened. They had that one play that was a really good play from Sheree and the other receiver, who are speedsters. But for the most part, it wasn't like no air show like some people are trying to make it out to be. No. Again, all opinions are welcome, but where was the lie? We know that they lost games because of bad special teams and fumbles. That's not excuse making. That's talking about the root of the problem. I've been around coaches. Coach Walker, who's in the chat right now, been around coaches. How many coaches have you heard that talks about the root of the problem? If you would have done this, we wouldn't be losing these games or having close matchups all the time. How many times have you been around coaches that got the whiteboard up, right? And they're showing you what is causing the game. Okay, every fourth quarter, we're turning over the ball more than the first quarter. How many coaches you seen do that? All the time. That's why when I talk about sports, I like talking with coaches because they understand how to get to a root of a situation. Hey, I got love for FAMU, Coach Walker. Hey, I'm pretty fair with FAMU. I break them down pretty fairly. Shout out to Mr. Keppel, man. Hey, you got to give me credit. Well, it's not really a surprise, but you know, me and many others said they won't be losing any SWAC games. I don't think FAMU's going to lose another SWAC game. That's just the reality of it. I know Texas Southern gave them a scare, but they got to go on. They got to go up some point and stop having the little. The only problem with FAMU, slow starts. When they're clicking, when FAMU's clicking in the beginning, they're tough to beat. Yeah, John Huggins is balling right now. How about John Huggins? John Huggins had 2 picks, man. John Huggins looked like he's trying to make a name for these last couple of games. I think this is the last eligibility. He's making the best of a situation. Yep, you're right, Miracle Sports. And fumbles against bad teams, which has happened this year with Jackson State, makes it closer than what it should be. Yeah, I can see that happening, Coach Walker. He said FAMU is going to walk the tightrope closing this thing out. At this point, if you're a FAMU fan, as long as you win out the rest of your games, you should. It's like it's survive and advance right now. Sonic Boom says, Hollywood, so you're saying teams always win games they're supposed to win? So if Miami had gone on to win the rest of their games and be in the playoffs, would they be a bad team because they blew it against one? That's the problem. That's the problem, Sonic. I think, well, like brother Hollywood, what they have to do is not conflate truths. Everyone knows you play to win the game, but why do you lose the game? Who Jargon says talking to coaches will help so many folks understand, quote unquote, the game. That's what it's all about, man. I don't think anyone, we had a stream a couple of days ago with Hoop Jargon, and we weren't sugarcoating any problems that Jackson State had. But one thing I respect about Hoop Jargon in his coaching aspect, he thought that TC Taylor, as a first-year head coach, has exceeded expectations because they could go 8-3, and that's better than most first-year head coaches. Well, your first year is not going to be perfect. Look at the numbers: turnovers, just miscommunication plays, and bad special teams. We mentioned Nick Saban. We're not calling him Nick Saban, but Nick Saban had a 7-6 year. I remember in the ESPN Sports Radio, they were overreacting and say, "Is Nick Saban the right guy?" And then Nick Saban started winning a bunch of games. When Nick Saban was on the radio talking about, this is like 2006, 2007, talking about, well, if we shore these things up, we'll get some wins. He wasn't making excuses. He was talking about the root of the problem. Right, Hoop Jargon. No one kills it in 1 year. The only coaches that kill it in 1 year are coaches that were left behind a great team. Now, how many players transfer out of Jackson State this past offseason? Don't worry, I'll wait. Let me say it again for the people in the back. How many kids transferred out of Jackson State during this offseason? It's a record amount. It's a record amount. 60 players transferred out. Now, I don't care if you got a number one recruiting class, you still have to have chemistry. And you have to have chemistry with a new head coach. I was joking with Coach Walker one time. We was chopping it up like we always do. I was like, bro, TC Taylor got to be the first-year head coach that has the most unrealistic expectation. I saw people say that TC Taylor need to go undefeated. I like, undefeated? And then the haters was unrealistic as well. The haters were saying that TC Taylor would lose 6 games. Hey, Hoop Jargon, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And that goes for all first-year head coaches. Amanda says facts. This had to be said. Both the TC, the ones that had the unrealistic expectations and the haters were both wrong. The ones that supported TC but giving them a benefit of a doubt as a first-year head coach has been right so far. The ones that said, hey, we could go 8-3, and that's a building year. We could go 8-3. I bet you if Jackson State go 8-3, the recruiting will be high this offseason. And then you could talk about TC Taylor. Because if you really want to open Pandora's box, why are we still talking about the past coaching staff and you have something special with this team right now? We can't talk about, oh, we're trying to elevate all these HBCUs and we're not showing love when they do things right. And we're only talking about when they do things wrong. And we're not providing solutions. Jeffrey Ziegler says, dang near all the starters would be started. Man, you know what's crazy? If Jackson State would have returned 5 impact players, which is not the whole team, would they have lost 3 games? This how serious this stuff get, man. Coach Rocky says, wait, who talking? You know I'm about to have fun with that one. They deserve what they get. He said, I was about to say the Colorado fans are disappointed, man. They need to focus on this season, but even with Coach Prime, man, it's new first year head coaches. It's tough, man. It's tough. That's why I didn't have them winning no 8 games. I'm like, man, 8 games? Hell no. Not with their schedule. And this is perspective, of course. Yep. Sonic Boom C98. This is what this is the look at all the players that left the second half of the season that promised Coach TC Taylor they were going to stay. That messed up everything. So TC had to go and recruit some more players, fill in roster spots because he was promised, I'm going to stay, and then they backed out the second half off season. Not too many coaches go through that, man. Black Emperor says, how many first-year head coaches in the SWAC have a better record than TC Taylor? Talk to him. Talk to him. Don't worry, I'll wait. Don't worry, I'll wait. I'm telling you, I'm giving Coach a year. If they go 8-3, I'm giving TC Taylor Coach a year. Losing 60 players. Just dealing with a lot of just bullshit, man. Like, you got players saying, hey, man, I'll ride for TC, and then leave at the last minute. Come on, man. You got players right now that transferred out I haven't seen on the field. Man. Savion Wilkinson, I hope he has a good remainder of his career. But I told some people, I said, man, he ain't going to be playing that much. Did you see the other running backs they got? And that's not against him. That's just reality. The overreaction, right. Some bailed after NFL draft when they saw only one HBCU player get drafted. But they didn't talk about the contest. They didn't talk about how undrafted players are just making money on the side. Marquise Bell, who wasn't even drafted, is making the name. I'm a Cowboys fan. I know this. Who Dragon says Savion's still putting in work in big moments this year. Savion's still that's a good point, but he's a role player. Like, he's not the guy. I'm a little bit different. Like, if I was in their shoes, I'm playing where I'm being the guy. I'm not trying to be second fiddle to no one. Yeah, Bell's a dog, man. If you a dog, they're gonna find you. They're gonna find you. Chris Hollis says, do you think JD Martin should take a medical red shirt? You know what? If I was JD Martin, I'll do that. He's very talented. Now's Gaddy's exception to the rule. Now's Gaddy has been having a really good year. Who else? Kevin Coleman's having a good year. Louisville. What's that offensive line that's at TCU right now? I forgot it. Willis Patrick. Willis Patrick is having a good year for TCU. Now, there's some. All I'm saying is, to my athletes that are listening, don't just transfer just because it's the most popular thing. Get your first degree and transfer out so you can get your second degree. So you can have 2 degrees. When you have 2 degrees, it's powerful. That's a fair point. That's one thing I got to give Savion credit on. He don't fumble, man. He don't fumble like that. Like, he rarely fumbles. Yeah, Louisville pretty good. Man, what's that one receiver that transferred out of Jackson State? He at Colorado now. He's like a speedy receiver. He's not even seeing the field. Man, what is that receiver name? Y'all let me know. He's like 5'9", speedy receiver, runs a 4.3. When he transferred out, that's like, man, he ain't even going to play. Yeah, Willie Gaines. Willie Gaines, if he didn't transfer out, and shout out to the Blue Bloods. Good job on everything you're doing in your content, brother. If Willie Gaines, that's the one that did not make sense at all. Y'all got to at least agree on that. Because if Willie Gaines would have stayed at Jackson State, that's the deep threat they needed. And he would have been a focal point wide receiver. But all he's doing now is just rooting on the team. That's all he's doing on social media, rooting on the team. And I'm just being honest with y'all, man. When an athlete transferred out, that's their decision. But I'm gonna not call out, but I'm gonna tell the truth about a situation when I see it. And when he transferred out, that was the one transfer that made the worst sense. I would have loved to see Malachi Wyman stay, but hey, sometimes things don't work. Willie Gaines and Malachi Wyman, that would have been dope. That would have been dope. Cameron Salmon Craig, he's actually been on the field a lot and actually helped that team win some games, so no one can fault him. But Willie Gaines, man, he could have been the premier receiver in the SWAC. Man, what could have been, man? Miracle Sports says a lot of guys love the glitz and glamour. Well, that's why I like this new team now, even though it doesn't have the undefeated win or so. I like that this team is forming into TC's image, which is a more blue collar type of thing. Oh yeah, Trevante Rucker, but Trevante Rucker and Blue Bloods can attest to this. Trevante Rucker is having a solid year for UT Martin, and UT Martin is winning. So I can't really fault Rucker for leaving. I got to be objective about Trevante Rucker. I can't really say I would have loved for him to stay at Jackson State, but the season he's having at UT Martin, I can't blame him for that, man. I can't blame him for that. I think that's a smart transfer. If you're gonna leave, go to a winner and actually play. I mean, Trevante Rucker scored the only touchdown in that game against Georgia. Yeah, he's balling at UT Martin. Facts, Hoop Jargon. Hey, Doc, I see your message, man. I was about to wrap up the stream, but let me give you the last word. The Blue Blood said he's got like 22 receptions for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns for a top 15 team in the country. He's doing the thing. Yeah, I can't fault him for that. Hey, Doc, I just sent you the link, man. So you can give him some words, what you thought about this topic. You could come on the stream too, Hoop Jargon. Yeah, I just sent the link. Shane Hooks has actually played in games for Auburn. Good. We got Who Jargon in the building.
What
Hey,
up,
can you hear
DJ?
me?
Hey, can you hear me? Yes,
What's
sir.
good, bro?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch a little bit about, exposure. I won't be verbose. I won't be too long. Um, listen, man. As a SWAC guy through and through, I want nothing but the best of like our best athletes getting the best chance to get to that next level. Like Marquise Bell, like Isaiah Land, like just think about recent guys from the SWAC, Isaiah Bolden. You know what I'm saying? Getting that next look. I want nothing more than that every year. But reality is this, man. You can be a fourth, fifth option over there in Colorado, but if the NFL scouts or dug into like they believe in your program, you still can get that look. So, and that's kind of like what I'm saying with Savion Wilkerson, because obviously he's not getting the same numbers. We talking about a guy freshman of the year in the MEAC, last in the SWAC, all SWAC last year. I think he was the leader in rushing. You guys can correct me in the chat. But this is a guy who's proven he's done work. Being a more of a big fish in a small pond. And I think that, when you compare, he had a great game against TCU, pounding that ball in. He also had some good runs against Colorado State. I think any competent, coach or like scout, at the NFL level, can see that, okay, this guy's consistently been a good running back, a power back at this level. So I don't think it's a bad thing because we've seen how many guys at the SWAC level just kill it and get no looks at the NFL level. We've seen so many. So I don't think it's a bad thing that he's playing third or fourth fiddle, if we're being frank, in Colorado, because I think he has the attention that he wouldn't get in the SWAC. And then people can look up his resume and see that he's put that work in his whole entire career. It just so happened he's playing Power Five, and obviously you have more equal or greater talent around you. So, and my last point I'll say is, we saw this in Georgia when they had three backs. Now I can't think of the names for whatever reason, but all three guys
You
went to the NFL.
you talking about the
Huh?
year they had it was Sony Michelle, Nick Chubb,
Yes,
and
yes,
Todd Gurley.
yes. All three guys. So I mean, it's possible. So that's all I'm saying. So I'll land the plane there.
Interesting perspective, man. We got Doc Holiday, man. What you talk about this topic I just was having today, man?
Man, on the real, I think the future is bright for everybody. Just
Mm-hmm.
like you said with us in Jackson State, um, who would have thought that TC would be 5-3 right now with a brand new team and, and
Hello?
can you hear
Hey,
me now?
Doc, you there? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh,
I want to make sure the audio
but Doc
clear.
got that cricket wireless, man. What's going on, bro?
Man, I'm at work.
Yeah, we can hear you now, man.
Nah, but I'm just saying with what's going on with TC, like having a season like we having now and being 5-3, and nobody thought people doubted us. They said some people said we were gonna be 0-4. Some people said we were gonna be 1-3 in our first 4 games, and look at what he's doing now with the team that he has right now.
And bro, you spot on. That's what they're not even seeing, man. Like they expect the brother to be undefeated the first year.
That will never, to me, that will never happen because of the simple fact that it's the way that how everything is set up. But we just got to be, to me, we just got to be patient and just wait and see what we got coming up. I like I said, I like our future. I like the QB that we're gonna bring in next year, and he
Speaking of
protect the
Ethan
quarter.
Terrell, Doc, tell him how good Ethan Terrell is. You from the Metroplex. You know how good that brother is, man. He ain't
Oh
gonna
nah,
play second fiddle, man.
he the real deal.
That's
He
gonna
the
be
real
some.
deal,
Is
man.
he an early enrollee? They're saying that he is.
I talked to his dad. Yeah.
I'm
I
telling
talked
you,
to his
man. I
dad.
looked at his film on the huddle, man. I think last month. Objectively speaking, I thought Ethan Terrell was a 4-star, like a
Said
low four
he could
star.
have been, he could have been, but I mean, he said he take his rank of what he got now, but he just wants to win. He wants to go in
Mm-hmm.
there, compete for the job, and be contribute to the program. So he just want to be a part of the program and wants to win. Wants to do a job any single way he wants to do it. He wants to help do the job.
Yeah, that's real, man. I can't wait to see the quarterback competition, man. Shout out to brother Bakari. Shout out to everyone in chat. Hit the like button if you haven't. Share this video on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. And support the brothers that are on the panel. Support Hoop Jargon. Subscribe to his channel and HBC Overdrive with Doc Holiday. Great brothers, man.
Can I
What's
ask
up,
Doc a
bro?
question?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Doc a question.
go
Listen,
ahead.
man, because listen, I'm one of these guys where, again, I'm a prayer view guy. Everybody knows this. Well, most people know this. So I'm gonna come with Jackson State with the appropriate smoke because I'm not just praise everything Jackson State. I'm gonna ask hard questions because
Yeah,
you know what. Matter of fact, I won't bring up Prime just yet. Let's focus on what's going on right now. What do you observe right now of when Morgan presents different from Brown, man, as far as from quarterback and of what you see him playing a full game, having and it's him. I get it, they won. I'm not so big about just the win because you beat a bad Valley team, but what do you take from that, and what do you see going forward from your quarterback play?
Just see growth, man. That's all I can tell you. I just see growth within the team. That's really what
Do
I
you
can
see?
say.
Okay, well, more specifically, what do you think that he needs to work on personally as a quarterback? As far as just being, dominant in the SWAC. We've seen guys like Bruce Eugene. We've seen guys like Tavares Jackson, Akil Glass, so on and so forth. What has he shown that he can, do, or what does he need to work on, or do you not see it in him? I kind of want to get more specific about what do you see projection wise out of him?
Uh, I can't really see no Bruce Eugene because Bruce Eugene and Akil Glass they were uh man amongst boys when they played out there. But he could be his own. You know what I'm saying? He could be his own player. He could make his name for himself.
I gotta say, I heard that he the Cam Newton of the SWAC. So I gotta ask questions. I gotta ask questions, man. I gotta put the foot to the fire a little bit because I saw a lot of good out of him. I was very impressed on Saturday. To be frank with you, having that run when he knocked the dude helmet off, it's almost like he didn't even know what he did. He's kind of just glid into the end zone after that. You know what I'm saying? So okay, but you as a Jackson State fan, I just want to get your perspective. So all right, I'll deal with that. Is anybody there? I don't hear any audio.
Yeah, we there.
Okay,
We there.
cool. Well, let me say this too. So Jackson State going forward, do they have any chance of catching FAMU, Doc, in your opinion, bro?
You talking about this year?
Yeah.
Man, they
I know the
family.
answer to my own question. It's a rhetorical question, but, but I just want to hear his
Unless
perspective.
we think family gonna lose 3 games.
Shit, no.
Like even if they slip up in one game, they still going to the Celebration Bowl. I mean, not Celebration Bowl, the SWAC championship game,
What
and I think they're
championship?
gonna win. I think they're gonna win the SWAC championship game and go to the Celebration Bowl.
Well, I want to make sure Doc wasn't overzealous with his fanship. I mean, you know how I go to SWAC, man. And I gotta say it, man. Jackson State alum. Listen, y'all to me got the best fan base in the SWAC. Not named FAMU. Like as far as showing up to streams, showing up to games, I give y'all all the credit in the world for that. But y'all have some lofty expectations too. So I just wondering, where the fan base is thinking right now, what's going on? Because it's over. Who Georgia
Hey
Tech
man, they
first?
got and before I end the stream, bro, I want to thank everyone that's tuned in. Hit the like button, share this video. Even though it looks like FAMU's going to win the SWAC East, you still have a lot to play for, and that's the future. And you want to have a dominant team next year, and the best way to have a dominant team is to go out there and give it all you have for this season. So I can't wait to see what this team looks like next year. But right now, I'm excited just to see the growth of Jacoby and Morgan and some of the young guys. And if you go 8-3 with young talent, that's a really good look on TC Taylor.
Absolutely. And that's to be respected. And that's why I just don't like, me, DJ. My takes age pretty well because I always play the middle. I don't go extreme either way. I go with what's logical. So that's why I said what I said about Prime. I was on record before the season started that that's a 5 to 6, maybe 7 win team. And you see guys like Shady McCoy saying, "Oh, they're gonna go 10 wins." And your boy, what's my man name? The receiver of Buccaneers, Cowboys,
Keyshawn
talking about team. I'm like, no, y'all love too hard with these dudes. So
yeah,
to judge, man, y'all love too hard. I said it's about a 5 to 7 win team. I would not be surprised anything in between those numbers. I said this before the season started, right? Now, I didn't think that they would beat TCU. I didn't see that coming. So, but then I didn't see them losing Stanford either. So, I mean, that's how sports work. So going to like with TC, people's like, again, going grandiose. Oh, we don't need Coach Brown. We gonna be better. No, you're not. Oh, with TC trash. No, he's not. It's in the middle. TC is doing a damn good job as a first-year head coach. And I really want my opinion to be solidified in that aspect. It's just like, dog, you gotta let these dudes run a program. Nobody kills it year one, as you saw what I put in the chat. But going forward, man, it's just a beautiful thing to watch, man. I like what Dooley's doing in Southern. Nobody kills it year one. I like what my coach, I saw Tomorrow Leader Sports said, which Prairie you gonna do with Bubba McDowell? We're gonna get our ass whooped by FAMU. More likely than not. They're a better football team. But what you're probably gonna see is Prairie View in the SWAC championship, playing against FAM again. Right? So I mean, it is what it is. Like I can wish the most lofty things for my team and my coach. But the reality is, Prairie View, we've been up and down. We won the games we need to win. We beat Texas Southern, came back and beat them. We beat Alcorn, which is a huge win. We lost to Grambling. The game we ain't lost in a long time. So, thus going forward, like, I expect the FAMU loss. I just do. But go ahead, DJ.
no doubt, man. Yeah, TC Taylor, man. Good first half of the season, 5-3. The only blemish is the Alabama State loss, but besides that, that's something that's beyond coaching turnovers. When you turn over the ball 3 to 4 times, you're not gonna beat anybody. So that's beyond coaching right there. I hope he goes 8-3, so the haters can shut up for for once, man. He's doing a good job for a first year head coach, and that's the truth, man.
Absolutely.
Any last words before we roll out? Oh, I think he left. But man, thank y'all for tuning in, man. If I haven't read all your messages, please forgive me. It's been a busy day, but I'm about to run some errands right now. Y'all share this video, like this video. The next stream that I'll do, I would like to have some more people on the panel. so we
Yes,
could
sir.
discuss things. And y'all have a blessed day.
Yes, sir.